Good evening. Melissa Johnson here. Today is January 5th, 2026. This is episode 23 of Melissa Loves to Talk. Um, Trying to figure out where to start. Um, I'm still a little tickly, so my throat is still, a mess. So excuse me if I have to drink, if I have to cough. I am getting better slowly. I have been drinking uh, like immunity drinks and eating oranges, and I don't feel bad. It's just tickly. So, not really sure what's going on, but I'm trying to make it. If you watched my episode yesterday, I talked about um, illegals and legals and refugees. My friend texted me and said I actually did what she was hoping I would do. So, yay me. I'm glad. I um wasn't really sure what she wanted me to do with it, but I went with the way I took it. And she said that was exactly what she wanted me to do is show the differences between um refugees legally coming here and illegally coming here, and then what the Bible says about it, stuff like that. So that's what I did. I gave facts about what exactly all of them mean by the dictionary and then what the Bible says. So, facts. And then, of course, I did give a little bit of my opinion about it, um, which is what I like to do, say, here's the facts, and this is what I think. Again, you can think whatever you want. It's a free country. I can think whatever I want. It's a free country. That's what I love about this country is because we have the option to talk to each other, give each other opinions, share facts, have discussions. I love that. Um, the left, of course, hates it. I want to talk about the left today, which is, I feel like, a never ending battle. I wish that it would stop being this same problem, but it is a spiritual battle in this country. Okay. I say this over and over because I'm hoping people will understand. It is a spiritual battle. We are in a constant spiritual battle. Everything that goes on in this country. Okay. If you see all the things that the left does, it's everything against the Bible. That's why I say it's a spiritual battle. Um, Starting with immigration, abortion, same-sex marriage, uh, transgenderism, everything that they support is against the Bible. So that's why I say it is a spiritual battle. Okay. So I'm going to start with all the things they say, and I'm going to explain how that contradicts the Bible. Okay. I'm not going to technically point out scriptures because I didn't have time to look up the scriptures. I can Google it. So I guess technically I can Google it and I can tell you what the scripture is. I just won't read it. But number one, I will start with um in the beginning, God created man and woman. Okay. So there's two genders. That is in Genesis. That's easy. God created man and woman. He created us in his image. Okay. Man and woman. He didn't say he created 15 genders, 20 genders, 1,000 genders. He did not say that. He said, I created man and woman. So in the beginning, that's Genesis. So there's already what the left is against. They say there's infinite genders. Your gender is whatever you feel like. No, your gender is when you're born and you come out, you're naked. Do you have a penis or do you have a vagina? That's it. Okay. Again, There are people that are born with both. They're hermaphrodites. Okay. That is like one in a million. It's very, very rare. When that happens, again, I don't know how they do it nowadays because now they probably use it as transgender craziness. But back in the day when it was, a thing, number one, we didn't talk about it because people were embarrassed. There was a lot of things that, went on back then. Okay. So if a baby was born, it had both a male and female parts, they would normally let the parents pick. Okay. Would you rather have a boy? Would you rather have a girl? I don't necessarily agree with that, but there is ways if you do it right away to fix it so that you're not having problems in the future. So back then, that's the way they did it. They were just like, okay, do you want a boy or a girl? Okay. And they would fix the baby so it would be one or the other. Okay. Again, if you're born that way, you can have more of one hormone. So therefore, I guess what they would do is when the child got older, they would put them on hormones to help regulate so that they would feel like the sex that their parents picked. Okay. This is how people started using this for transgenderism. Oh, well, we get to pick what we want to be. We can just take some hormones, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's not this. This was just a deformity, just like when you're born without a limb, when you're born and you can't see. It's a deformity, exactly just like any other birth defect. Okay. But of course, it got distorted because that's what they do. They distort it and say, oh, well, I was born that way. Okay. You were not born that way. You were born a girl. So you're supposed to be a girl. Okay. God didn't make a mistake. Again, the deformity happens for many, many, many reasons, just like all the other deformities. Okay. It just happens. Okay. It wasn't necessarily a mistake. It was just a deformity. It was a genetic mutation. It was, you know, something the parents ate. They're saying a lot to do with if you take, certain medications when you're pregnant, it can cause deformities, a whole bunch of different things make this happen. Okay. It wasn't God made a mistake and decided, oh, I'm going to make you both. It just happens. Again, just like I said. And God made you that way per se because he formed you in your mother's womb and you had a birth defect. It happens. Okay. Like I said, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's you took some medications. It's a whole bunch of different reasons why it happens. Okay. So people distort it and say, oh, okay. So, um, you know, I was born a girl, but I want to be a boy because they use this situation. That if it happens to this many people, it happens to everybody or whatever they use. I don't know that exactly. But again, this is how I think it started the transgenderism. Okay. Again, in the Bible, it tells you you're a male or you're a female. Okay. I get people want to say, okay, I feel like I'm a boy. I feel like I'm a girl. That is gender dysphoria. That is something that is a disorder in your brain, and you can actually get counseling and fix that, just like schizophrenia, bipolar, stuff like that. Instead, people started saying, oh, well, she's a girl, but she thinks she's a boy, so we'll fix her and make her a boy. Okay. So got distorted again. Okay. My son, when he was little, he thought he was Spider Man. He's not Spider Man. He's a grown man. He's not dressed like Spider Man. He doesn't try to swing from webs. Okay. There's a difference. A lot of kids think they're crazy things when they're little because you have a good imagination when you're little. Okay. I thought I was a school teacher and I was, you know, school teacher. What else did I pretend to be? Whatever. That's what kids do. You pretend to be something you're not. So people use this. And so the left uses this again against people. Okay. So then they started saying, okay, well, instead of I want to be a boy, but I was born a girl, I want to be a cat. I want to be uh two spirit. I want to be, honestly, I don't even know. Non binary. I don't even know them all because there's so many because they say there's infinite. Okay. So then they just started making stuff up. I'll be honest, this is my opinion. Is I feel like they think it's a fad. Like it's cool to act like this. So, yes, it's demonic, but it's also I feel like they want to be clicky, they want to fit in, okay? That's how I feel about it. Again, that's not scientific. That's just me thinking when you hang around people that act like that, you start acting like that. And it's very that is scientific. You start hanging around someone that plays with their hair all day. Eventually you start playing with your hair. If you hang around somebody that cracks their knuckles a lot, you start doing it. You start acting like the people you're around. You start talking like them, you start acting like them. That's scientific, that happens. So I feel like that is how it all really got started and how the left started using it. Again, demonic because everything that God created, the enemy uses the opposite as counterfeit. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Uh, so he'll use a counterfeit. That's why I said, okay, you are you have a little bit of gender dysphoria. There's a way to fix that without being generally mutated. Okay. It is so common now where people are saying they made a mistake. They should have never went through with it. You know, now I'm ruined. I can't have babies. I can't be a father. I can't be a mother. It's irreversible. If you decide to change your mind, you can't fix it because you've pumped all these hormones in you and it's changed your genitals, not your DNA. Because if you're born a boy, you have XY. If you're a girl, you have XX. That doesn't change, but it can change your hormones. So therefore, you can no longer produce eggs or sperm, whatever, if you're a male or a female. It does mess with that. Okay. Many, many people have been coming out very recently and saying, I can't go back. I want to have a family and I can't. I should have never did this. Why didn't my parents tell me this was wrong? Why didn't my counselor tell me this wrong? There's so many things. And that's why they're coming out to stop people from doing it. Please don't do this to your body. It's irreversible. One day, if you change your mind, you can't change your mind. It's no going back. So that's what the left will say. They were born that way. You're xenophobic. You're homophobic. You're transphobic. You're, I don't know how many phobics you can be. Okay. So they'll say you're everything if you say it's wrong. Okay. I say it's wrong. So of course I get called all kind of phobic. I don't care because I'm telling you what's truth. Okay. Two genders. You're born a male, you're born a female. Again, yes, you can be born both. It is so, so rare. And you can have gender dysphoria. Again, you get some counseling, maybe some, meds to help fix your brain waves. Again, like schizophrenia, bipolar, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. So, I'm trying to work through to see all the things the crazy left says that just is totally driving me crazy right now. Okay, so there's that. Those two things, like I said, are against the Bible. They're all kind of the same in a way. It's all linked in Genesis. Okay. Then I explained yesterday about coming here legally, coming here illegally, and being a refugee. That was um so, in the Bible I explained, yes, we are to love our neighbors, we are to take in people, but they need to come here legally. You can't just let everybody in your country. You have to follow the law. It says it in the Bible. You have to follow the law. Do you come here legally? Uh, Following the law, you come here. So again, that is against the Bible because they love people that break the law. They call you undocumented. Okay, undocumented is not having paperwork. It is illegal. Again, in the Bible because it says you should have documentation. And again, I looked up the definition in Webster's definition, and it said when you are an immigrant, you have legal paperwork. You come here with a birth certificate, you have some kind of ID, you have something saying who you are, and then you get vetted, and then you come here the right way. So the left loves illegals because it's against the law. They hate laws because God tells you to follow laws. Not really sure if there's any other reason besides they want them to vote for them. So they come here, they give them all kinds of free stuff and hope they'll vote for them. Okay. I'm going to say they have lost a lot of voters right now because of Venezuela. I can tell you right now, they probably lost all the Hispanic vote. I can't imagine any person that's Hispanic is going to vote for a Democrat after what Trump did. If they do, I'll be shocked. But again, here's another prime example of what the left does. They're taking up for the narco terrorist dictator. How interesting. He broke the law. He smuggled drugs into our country. Drugs are illegal. He was indicted. Him, his wife, his family members. It was 10 or 11 of them. They were all indicted. Okay. So Trump didn't kidnap them. They were indicted. And so they got picked up. Just like if I break the law and there's a warrant out for my arrest, the police are going to come into my house. They're going to bang on my door, say, "We have a warrant for your arrest. We're picking you up." Again, it's the law. Trump did the same thing with Maduro and his wife. Okay. He did not kidnap him like the left's saying. They broke the law. That is only one law that they've broken. Okay. They literally were indicted in New York, which is why they're in New York. They were indicted in New York for narco terrorism. So, not only that, is they had a legal election. He cheated. He stole the election and remained the dictator. This happened in 2024. Again, I read this the other day on my podcast. I read the whole thing about what happened in 2024. The two people that won, he overthrew them, or the voting stopped. Sounds familiar. And so then the legitimate winners, they got thrown out and he stayed leader. Okay. Multiple countries say this. It's not Trump saying this because he wants to take over Venezuela. He wants to be in charge of Venezuela. He wants Venezuela's oil, whatever the left's saying. Okay. The main reason why he did what he did is he's not the legitimate president. He's a dictator. He overthrew the government. He is a narco terrorist. This is why this happened. Not because of what the left likes to say is Trump's a bully. He just wanna controls everything. He wants to be the dictator. Honestly, it's I have left fatigue because they just don't stop. It's all about the oil. Okay, Trump literally said, if you're in the Western Hemisphere and you're messing with United States, we're coming after you. He gave him lots and lots of chances. Listen to the interviews. Every person has said, Trump, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Raisin Kane, all of them have said, we gave him multiple chances. He could have just taken the deals. We would have never went in there. Now we're in there. Okay. But the left, they love to lie to us. And so they're saying he only went in there because he wanted the oil. Okay. I'll tell you about the oil. Okay. So years ago, I think it was trying to remember when it was. I don't remember what year it was, but they were in a deal. It was the United States, Venezuela. We were in a deal together. We went over there. We helped them build all their stuff so that they can pump oil, drill for oil. We did all their manufacturing so they could get the oil. Okay. They were supposed to give us some of the money. Okay. But again, we're in our country. They're in their country. They did not give us our share of the money. They're saying it was like $9 billion. I think the number was when I looked it up that we were supposed to get from the oil. And we did not. And again, back then, we had weak presidents who didn't care. They were like, oh, okay, whatever. We're not even worried about Venezuela. We don't care. Or they were in some kind of deal for themselves, which is more what I think. I think they probably cut a deal with them and, you know, it was two different people in charge because I think it was in 1990 something. So you have two different presidents. They probably got in a deal. Was like, hey, if you let us keep the oil, we'll give you some kickbacks. Again, I'm just saying this. I don't know, but it sounds like something the left would do. So I'm going to say this is what they do. They get kickbacks for everything. This is why they support everybody but the United States. And then want to say, oh, I thought you were America first. Everything they're doing, they try to say we're doing. Okay. So just remember that also. So, so now they're running a mouth about the oil. Okay. Again, they owe us $9 billion from the cut we were supposed to get years ago when we helped them build their infrastructure for their oil. They didn't give us $9 billion. So guess what? Now we have all the oil. It's like $1 trillion worth of oil now. Okay. Trump could be like, oh, well, finders keepers. That's what I would do. But he never said he was going to do that. He said, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. He never even mentioned this agreement. I looked it up and found it that they had this agreement. They were supposed to give us $9 billion. They backed out, never gave us the money. I've heard one person bring it up on the podcast that I've been watching. No one's bringing it up. I don't know if no one's looked it up or no one thinks it's relevant. To me, it's relevant. They owe us $9 billion. Okay, so we go there, we take $9 billion worth of oil. That's what we're owed. Okay, that seems fair to me. But again, the left, oh my gosh, it's about oil. Oh my goodness, it's going to be another Iraq. Trump's never done anything that would make you think that he's going to keep boots on the ground over there and keep us in war for the next 3 years. He's never did that. They went in there. They were in there What did they say? 10 minutes. They got in there, got Maduro and his wife, and was out. It doesn't sound like he's trying to stay. He could have scoped him out. He could have hung around. He could have done a lot of different things. He didn't. He went there and did what they needed to do and got out. So it doesn't sound like they're trying to have a war. So there you have where the left is like, oh, he did this without congressional approval. Again, I looked this up the other day. He does not need congressional approval, even if he did say it was war, as long as he tells them within 48 hours. So legally, he could go bomb them for 48 hours and then call Congress and say, hey, just so you know, we're at war with Venezuela. He told them within 48 hours. Okay. I looked it up. Okay. So, and because he didn't start a war or declare war, he didn't have to tell Congress. And why would he tell Congress? The lefty Lulus would be calling Venezuela and been like, heads up, Trump's on his way, Trump's on his way. No, you can't tell them. They're backstabbers. They would sell us out in a heartbeat. So you can't tell Congress. And again, he told Congress within a couple hours, because I said this the other day. Tim Burchett was on here making videos at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And he was saying, hey, just so you know, Trump did this. He's about to have a press conference at 11 o'clock in the morning. So it wasn't even a couple hours after that happened that he did tell Congress what was going on. So within 48 hours is what he is legally supposed to do as of 1973. That was a new thing Congress passed in 1973. So there you go. They don't even know what laws they've passed. 1973, look it up. They passed it probably for the reason I just said, is because you can't trust Congress. So it gives him 48 hours to do what he's got to do and then say, hey, just so you know, I went in there and I bombed so and so. Multiple presidents have done that. Everyone's favorite president, Obama, did it. Okay, so you can't say, Trump, all you have is TDS and you can't help yourself. You can't give credit where credit's due, no matter what. The left just cannot, no matter what. Now, mind you, you do have a couple people saying, yeah, it was a good thing. But you have the ones that are, again, saying, it's all about war. It's all about oil. They're going to have us in war. And then you have the famous paid protesters, you know, release Maduro, release Maduro. He's a nasty dictator. Why would you release him? Venezuela's partying because they're free. Make it make sense. I can't. Can anyone make it make sense? I cannot. To me, it is just every time they say something, I'm just astonished that they have no limits. They have no limits on how much they hate American people. It's just no limits. Just like Tampon Tim today said he isn't running for governor and blamed people because we care about the fraud. We're a conspiracy theorist. All this, the fraud's there. We didn't make any fraud up. It's proven. It's there. How are we conspiracy theorists? How are we being right wing crazy people? I don't even remember what he said, but it was like, no, the fraud's there. My thing is, I think, like the podcast I listened to earlier, he said there's only two ways that much money goes missing. Okay, is he either was in on it, which is what I believe, or he turned a blind eye. I think he was in on it, because why wouldn't you? Why would you turn a blind eye? Why wouldn't you say, I need a cut, so I'll shut my mouth? How much money you about to launder? I need a couple million. When they did billions, so he could have made a good cut. He's getting out thinking he's going to get away with it. I am sure hoping that we are going to be investigating him. Uh, and too bad he can't get deported because I would deport him instead of using our tax dollars to put him in jail. That's why I say anybody here that's here, naturalized, that did all this, I just say denaturalize them and deport them. Don't put them in jail. We have to pay for that. That's our tax dollars. They've done stole $18 billion. $18 billion they've already stolen. I think they have enough of our money. We don't need to pay more. Okay. Funds have been stopped from the federal government. Oh, that was another thing that he said. Tampon Tim said that Trump's cutting off the funds for women to be able to pay for daycare. Yup, he sure is, because your state can pay for it. Or these people that are working can pay for it like you should. When I had my daughter in daycare, I paid for daycare. The state wasn't paying for daycare. I paid for it. Now, mind you, it is pretty expensive. So I get it. And if you have help, I'm not downing you either for having help. It's just there's a real daycare center and they're getting help. That's one thing. When there's a fake daycare center getting fake money, not really fake because it's real money, but they're getting funds for children that aren't there. How do you get funds for 99 children and there's 0 children there? Or there's supposed to be 9 and there's only 3, but you're getting funds for 9. I mean, this is proven. They've proved it. I'm not making any of this up. You can look it up. Nick Shirley uncovered all this. He said half of the daycare centers he went to were fraudulent. So there are still that are not. Half were, half weren't. So, of course, they do really have daycare centers, thank God. But they also have pretend. Like, let's pretend we're a daycare center and let's pretend that we are daycare helpers. And let's get real money, though, even though we're pretending. I mean, it's just absurd. I don't know if anybody saw this video, but please, please, please look it up. It was, the babies that do all the Trump impersonations and stuff. It was all babies. And they were Trump and Tampon Tim and Ilhan. And it was hilarious. I watched it last night. My husband and I watched it. It was hilarious. And my husband doesn't laugh at anything because he has no sense of humor. And he thought it was funny. Okay. It was just hilarious. So you have to look it up. It's the babies. You know what I'm talking about if you watch videos. But it was just so funny. I literally want to look it up and watch it again because it was just so funny. Um, I'm trying to think who else was in it. I know it was definitely Tampon Tim, President Trump, and Ilhan, but it was somebody else. I just can't remember who. And of course, it was, babies pretending to be them. And it was just so funny and so accurate. Oh my gosh. I would have never even thought it was babies if I wasn't watching it. Because number one, it sounds like them, but it sounds like the stupidity that they would say. Not Trump. Of course, he was being Trump. But it was just hilarious. But of course, the fraud is not hilarious. I don't find it to be funny. It's our tax dollars that we're paying. Every single person in this country that pays taxes has paid into this because it was federal funds going to these fake daycares. So every single person in this country that has paid taxes for the last 10 years, because it's been going on for at least 10 years, has paid taxes into this. And they have said it's so much money. I think it's up to 90 billion now. I said 19, but I think it's up to 90 of all the fraud they found. because it's, of course, the SNAP program, the feeding the children, now senior centers. It's so much fraud. And we should be furious about this. We need to stop paying our federal taxes. Like, you've stolen enough our money. You don't need our money. Just get back the money that they stole. I mean, I'm done. We shouldn't even be paying it anyway. It's not even in the Constitution for us to pay federal taxes. So realistically, I don't even know how they put people in jail. Why don't people fight it? Because it's not constitutional. So I don't know if people will do it, but everyone's saying let's do a federal tax strike. I'm sure people will be too afraid to do it, but I'm thinking they can't arrest all of us. If every single person that's paid taxes for the last 10 years stops paying federal tax, they can't arrest everybody. That's a lot of people. I mean, you're talking 150 million people. I mean, that's the low number. They can't arrest 150 million people. Just saying. Uh, but so this is what I'm talking about. I'm just saying the stupid things the left says. Again, most of it's against the Bible. Everything they talk about, if you looked it up in the Bible somewhere, if you Google, what does God say about transgender? What does God say about more than one sex? Sorry, more than two genders. What does God say? And everything that they say is contradictory about what the Bible says. So that's why I say we are in a spiritual battle. It's nothing but that. It's nothing but that. How do you fight a spiritual battle? With the spirit. So we fight with spirit of God, the real spirit, the powerful spirit that can break all those fake spirits down. They have no power over God's spirit. They just don't. So that is what we need to start doing. We need to start proclaiming God, the Holy Spirit over this country, over these fake people, these fake spirits, the demonic. That's what we need to be doing. Fighting the right way. If it comes down, we got to fight with guns. Hey, you know what? It happened back in 1775, I think is when the wars start. Hey, if it happens again, it happens again. The founding fathers said there would come a day when it probably would happen. That's why we have the Second Amendment. That's why we have it. Don't ever, ever, ever let the government take your guns. Never. Look at all these countries where it's happened. Look at Australia right now. Look at the UK right now. Look at Canada right now. Never, ever, ever let them take your guns. They show up to your door, have your gun ready, tell them get off your property. Bye, see ya. You don't belong here. Do not ever, ever let them take your guns. Do not say we're doing a buyback. No, you're not buying back anything. This is my right to carry. You're not touching it because you're not touching my family. My right is to protect me and my family. That's what the Second Amendment is. Don't ever let them take it. That's why I live where I live. I will never move to a state that doesn't have constitutional carry. I will never. Because they're still not taking your gun, but they're restricting it, which is unconstitutional. So, to say all this, the left is nuts. Please stop listening to them. Please listen to some of the more right wing media. They will show you the full clip instead of you watching partial clips. And then they tell you to fill in the blanks. Okay. Or I get a lot of my news, like I said, from podcasters. If you listen to good right wing podcasters, LFA on Rumble, they are all Christians, they all speak the truth. They show you the full clip. They break down the clip. I've been really watching them the most lately, um, because they're all Christians and they give you a biblical sense and the American sense. So how your rights are, backed up by God, vice versa. Okay. So just saying that, I just gave them a little commercial. Not because they asked me to, but I wish they would. I'll take it. Please. I wish somebody would ask me to do something for them. But I am, because that's who I listen to. They have like 13-hour straight broadcast of, I think it's like 6 or 7 different people. They swap out and they do some devotional in the morning, then they do some news, and then they literally just maybe probably talk about politics and news again, but they're all Christians, so they talk about God and all this. So I do still listen to my other people too, but I have been listening to them a little bit more, mostly because they didn't go on break. And so they broadcasted over the holiday. So I did watch them mostly the whole time, because my regular people that I watched for since I've been watching podcasts were on break. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this. It's just the same flow, just a new person, and it kind of just keeps going. And you don't have to start, looking. Um, so if you're looking for something on Rumble, I think they're also on YouTube, but I don't watch YouTube. I watch Rumble. So if you do that and you want to look for something, it's LFA. That's what it is. It's just LFA, and you can look them up and you can find their stream, and like I said, it streams for 13 hours. So you can just keep watching it. It'll just take you to the next thing if you go to their actual page. If you get off of their page, it'll kick you to whoever's on the front page unless they're on the front page. But lately, that's who I've been getting a lot of my information from because, again, they show you the whole clip, but they do kind of separate. So they'll say, okay, this is the first part. They'll play it, tell you about it. You know, I need to learn how to show clips. That's what my plan is for the next couple days because I won't be doing a podcast. Is trying to learn how to post the clips up here so I can show a clip or put some, scripture so you can see it. So I'm not just reading it from my phone because it kind of makes it hard to read it from my phone and feel like I'm really like I could be making up what I'm reading, is what I'm saying. So some people may think, well, how do I know what she's saying is real? Again, I say the scripture and you could look it up, but I'd rather it be up on the screen. You can see exactly what I'm looking at, what I'm reading. I'm still learning. So that's my next goal. Sorry, is to learn how to split screen. I think my son showed me one time and I didn't quite understand. So I'm going to have him show me it again and maybe do it the first couple times for me and maybe I can figure it out cuz he had this set up every day for at least 10 to 12 episodes before I could figure out how to do it myself. Maybe 15. And now I can actually set it all up without his help as long as it starts right away. So, which there was a weird thing that happened when the um laptop like updated. It kicked everything off. So then I needed his help. But eventually, hopefully I can do all this myself since all I have is a laptop and a microphone and my personal phone. I don't have a whole camera and all this setup. It's pretty easy. It's just I'm not good with technology. So, anyway, I am going to go because I have a GOP meeting at 6 and it's about 20 minutes from here. So, I thank you so much for watching. Please like and share. Please leave me comments. Please, if you have any ideas of anything you want me to talk about, please send me a message in Messenger. If you have my personal phone number, you can text me. Again, you can just leave me comments and just, say, "Hey, I liked what you were saying about this. I agree, but I disagree. Hey, can you talk about this? I'd like to know what you think about this." Anything. Like I said, my friend just sent me a text. Made a whole episode yesterday about it. And I was gonna talk about that instead of the left, but today I'm just wore out from all the lies they said today. It's just ridiculous. So I was like, I'm just gonna talk about it today. Number one, kind of vent, kind of tell you some biblical truth about what they're talking about all the time. And then again, I did talk about and tell you about Venezuela because they continue to lie about Venezuela. Again, you can Google everything I just told you. That's what I did. I Googled all that stuff and found out about the oil that we had a deal we were supposed to get, about the elections. I found all that myself. So again, they could do the same thing, but they don't care to tell you the truth. They want to lie to you. They want to continue the lies because that's what Satan does. He is a liar and the father of all lies. So they just continue to lie to you. Please, please do your research. Please, please never give up your guns. Please, please speak truth because that is what makes us different, what makes us stand out. And I am going to go. And I thank you so much for watching. And please, please have a blessed evening. If you're going to go anywhere, please be safe. And I will not be back till Thursday night. I usually do Friday night, but I have to do something Friday night. So I'm going to do a special episode on Thursday night. And if you watch my videos in the morning, I will be posting a video in the morning. And probably next week, I'm going to start doing evening videos. This week's kind of hard because we have the morning prayer and I am already up. Like I've been up this morning. I got up at 5 and went to prayer and then I worked and I did this and now I'm going to a meeting. I don't think I can do a video tonight. Anyway, I think next week I'm going to start doing evening devotions. So I'll have a morning and an evening. There'll be two different kinds. It's not going to be the same devotion in the morning and at night. It's going to be two separate devotions. Um, so I hope that you join me. And I thank you so much for anything that you contribute right